Yeah.
I did.
Hello, we're live apparently with a show we've suddenly decided to call Melee for some reason or the other. So with the titles and they're over the top and they're silly.
Melee.
Sorry, Melee,
Melee.
Melee. I've only ever read it. I've never actually said it.
It's melee. As in a whole load of people getting into an arena and fighting each other. It's a melee.
Is that what we're doing then?
Yeah.
Can you hear this?
The gladiators of vape in a melee on a Monday. The Monday melee.
Hang on. I've got my gladiator stick.
Look at that. I was thinking more in terms of rumens than anything else. I've just realised I have not muted my playback on the other machine. Mute, doink. There you go. So that's all good. Yes, we're here. Go on then, Matt. Tell everybody what it's all about.
I have absolutely no idea.
Shall I do the introductions then?
Oh, go on then.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome to the Monday Melee. Hosted by myself. Melee. Hosted by myself, Dave Dawn, and as you have seen, production and also co-hosting by Matt Garish. Wednesday night Matt from the cave, don't you know? Also with us tonight, as a further co-host, we have the guy in the Midlands. His name's Keith. He's the chief. He's Chief Keith. Good evening, Keith.
Good evening, Dave. How you doing, mate?
I'm not doing so bad, mate. How's yourself?
I'm all right, mate.
It's nice to hear, mate. I hope you've had a lovely day, have you?
Whatever. Ain't been too bad here in the Midlands.
Yeah, it's been quite nice up here as well. A bit of bright sunshine to get out in and get brown, you know.
Whatever.
So we've got Keith and also one of my compatriots, she who must be obeyed. Well, she whose mother must be obeyed, but Keith's passing the stick to she who must be obeyed as well. She is the effervescent loveliness and bountiful beautiliciousness that is the one and only Sav, aren't you, Sav?
Yeah, I am. Hello.
I don't know, you give her a good big build-up and you get that.
All right, how you doing?
After all that build-up stuff, that was all you could manage.
It was. It's all I could muster out.
She was overwhelmed by the adulation.
Totally overwhelmed. That's exactly the word I was.
Completely underwhelmed by the fact that she's heard it 1,000 times before. So tonight on the Melee, the Monday Melee is kind of what Team Talk used to be, only with less sense.
God.
We have no idea what we're going to talk about until about 20 minutes before the show. Then we argue about it, and then we still get it wrong. But we're going to kick off tonight with this whole notion. Oh, yes, before we kick off though, we should say that Ding Dong Bell, Davy's down the well. Who pushed him in? Okay, who knows? Who knows? He's still down the... he's pretty bad in bed with a shawl on, both feet in one sock. Apparently he reached for a cup of coffee and put his shoulder out.
Aye.
I heard he got trapped by a candy cane.
Really? Sav, do you know the true story?
I know a bit of column A and a bit from column B. They were about there.
Oh, that sounds fair.
It's a choose your own adventure, is it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh,
As
yeah,
where
okay.
Davy's concerned, it is.
So if I had a pair of horn-rimmed glasses, I would pretend to be Davy, but frankly, I'm not chopping my knees off for anybody. Personally, I think the grayscale's got to him, and he's currently stuck in the arena somewhere, waiting to be rescued by Hodor, not realising he's dead. But there you go. That was just yes, that was just a short explanation. Yes, a very boring has just clattered into chat. Davy, or Accident Man, as he now might have to be referred to as, or Ririan. We'll keep it at Ririan.
Ririan's better. Accident Man's too long.
Yeah, Chinese version of Lillian. What? Right. So, okay. Look, let's get into this. Now, there's a number of things that have been occurring over this last week or two that you may or may well not be familiar with. If you're on Twitter, you'll have seen links to most of this stuff. If you're not on Twitter, why? Just a question. But it would appear that Vaporshark, aside from launching or announcing they will have the first DNA 200 mod on sale, at which point, Matt, try and keep your heavy breathing to yourself, please.
Sorry.
I heard that. You could just hear that little... Oh.
There's a bit of a groan, I'm sorry.
Well, it's... do you need a towel?
I can muddle through. Don't worry.
Yeah, I heard the stutter you do, I know. DNA 200 coming out from Vaporshark very soon to a Vaporshark store near you. That should be... I'm having one. Let's put it that way. But they've also been sending their juices, not just their juices, everybody's juices that they stock, are all getting tested. And if you go to the Vaporshark site and look at the juices, you can see the full MSDS results, whatever you call it, from each of the juices. And a few of them have been named that may not be particularly good. And I pay tribute at this point to the Grumpy Vapor, who is at thegrumpyvapor.com. And if you don't need us to drop that link in the chat, because thegrumpyvapor.com, if you cannot spell that, you want to shoot them. And basically, they've been looking for diacetyl and acetylpropionyl in all of the juices. Either, neither, basically. Either, neither. You don't want either. And there's a full list there. Everything that's got either diacetyl or acetylpropionyl in. Propionyl, I can never remember. Anyway, this is also being punted to Dr. Farsalinos, and his response, as the Grumpy Vapor reports, was stark. It says, with the exception of two liquids, Space Jam and Pineapple Whip, all samples are severely problematic. Unless you know anyone vaping less than 1 mil a day of them, the results are extremely worrying, is what he said here. So, Sav, you, I know, have been one of the people that said from the start, we need to know what's in the juice, and I know you're very, very strong on that. Yeah. What do you make of what's going on here?
I mean, I think it's brilliant that Vaporshark have gone out their way and done that, but like I was saying before, we've known about, well, I've been doing this just over 6 years as of you, and I remember having a conversation on HCF about 5.5 years ago, or reading a conversation where Kate was talking about all this then, and they were talking about the buttery flavours, the custard flavours, the certain vanilla flavours, and it just got brushed under the carpet so many times that to see a company actually off their own back going, hang on a minute, we're going to do something about it. I think it's brilliant.
Yes, I can't disagree. Keith?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sav. It's a brilliant idea. I mean, for a company like Vaporshark to come out and to do that, I mean, not only to their own juices, but to all the juices that they stock, is a brilliant thing. I mean, I think everybody should be doing it.
Matt, your feelings?
I think it's a good thing that they've done this out of their own pocket, and it allows they're not withdrawing anything from sale, they're just publishing results, which allows the end user, the customer, to just make an informed choice, going, well, yeah, I don't mind using this. which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, somebody did moot that it would be a good idea if any vendors are doing this, because I don't want to point this all at Vapor Shark. But what they said was, if they've had tests done and someone who, of the caliber of Dr. Farsalinos, who knows about these things, says actually no, they should take them off the shelves, get them off the shelves, get them recalled, get them put to one side. Does anybody agree with that?
Only if they're at a level that would be potentially harmful, then yeah. But if it's, again, we compare it to the levels that you find in cigarettes, don't you? And if they're still below that level, then no, as long as people are aware that this is there, then it's their choice whether they're going to use it or not.
Yeah, it's this bit that Dr. Farsalinos has said, that unless you know anyone vaping less than 1 mil per day, that the results are still extremely worrying for all but two of the DA and AP containing juices that they looked at. And that's assuming, because VB's pointed out in chat, he says, apparently the lab that was used for the testing may not be beyond reproach. He's heard some talk of a vendor that sent 3 identical samples from the same batch to that lab, and they came back with 3 different results. He can't confirm that, but it was mentioned about that lab before the Vapor Shark thing, and it just adds more confusion to the issue. Actually, it's entirely possible that 3 batches or 3 bottles of liquid from the same batch could get entirely different results. It actually is possible, depending on whether or not the plastic's leaching into it and what was in the bottles before and what the cleanliness and what have you of everything was before the stuff was bottled up. So by that same token, I think the mere presence of diacetyl or acetyl propionyl gives some cause for concern, but when you're looking at the elevated levels that they found there, I think that does actually make an issue. So, all right, let me punt this out at you. If you've got that information, if you know what the levels are, and if you know that those levels per how much you vape per day is going to be less than you would get from how many fags you would smoke per day, do you still feel comfortable in vaping that juice? Let's go through the panel and start with Keith.
Yeah, I mean, if I could be confident that, based on the amount of juice that I was vaping per day, and I could be confident that that was much less toxins, let's say, than I would be consuming if I was still smoking, then yeah, I'd still use those juices.
Okay, Stav?
I'd probably still use the juice, but I think I would probably limit my use of it.
Okay, Matt?
I'm not 100% sure. As I was saying before the show, I never switched to vaping with the aim of harm reduction. That wasn't my goal. So honestly, I don't really know. I can't say, yes, I'm going to use these and bugger the consequences, or no, I'm not going to touch them. I think it's probably be a happy medium, to be honest.
Doris Stokes, she gets everywhere. Spiritus Vapes has just clattered an interesting piece in. It says vendor head on here. I'm provided with test results from my suppliers. I don't necessarily take whatever they say at face value, but there's an amount of trust there, and the cost benefit of checking that someone that I've built a personal relationship with isn't necessarily there. But then the Vapor Shark stuff does worry me, and he wonders how many flavour suppliers, how many vendors actually lie. How many have had it tested and they go, they don't need to know. We'll have it if we're asked, but if we're not going to tell anybody.
Well, I know in this. Sorry.
Go on.
Oh, so I know in the States, the perfumer's apprentice, or the flavourer's apprentice, depending how you want to refer to them, they have on some of their flavourings actually said, no, this contains diacetyl. So they have actually come clean on that, and at least some of them.
Yes.
The Perfumer's Apprentice were very active very, very early on and sorting out what their flavours were. I remember talking to them quite a while ago and saying, what do you recommend to use and what don't you? They were very, very open about it. Very open, and gave me confidence to use a lot of their products quite happily, knowing that, well, they've said this could possibly be a problem, but at least they've told me I can now go and make that informed choice.
It is an interesting point as well that Matt's raised there, because in that piece of video from Dr. F that I played in last week, Dr. F and Bernd Meyer, he was saying that vapers, once they kind of got into it and they switched, do appear to be rather more health conscious or risk averse. I'm going to say risk averse rather than health conscious, because it does appear that any time that anything comes up, you get people going throwing a happy. I've got to admit I'm still unsure about all this, but I sit here secure in the knowledge that I very rarely vape a flavoured juice these days. Everything I use is unflavoured. I know exactly what's in it. Very little. Nicotine, glycerin, little bit of water, and maybe some ethyl malt, or depending on what the make of the base is. So I kind of know about all that. And that's not, I've got to say to everybody, that's not a choice I made because I was worried about flavourings being nasty in any way, shape or form. I did that because, and smokers will remember this, I'm sure, when you changed your brand, as many of us often did when, you know, the new cheapest one came out, you think, oh, Camerons, they're only 3 and 10 for 20, not 4 and 6 like Embassy or Caps and Fulls. I'll try them. 3 and 10 for 20. Anybody remember 3 shillings and 10 pence? Anyway, you'd go and get them and you, oh, these taste all right. Fortnight later, you wouldn't know the difference between them and your Caps and Full Strength, or your number 6s, or your Embassy, or whatever. And then you would try a Marlboro and it would taste different. But I never tasted the fags I was smoking. That could be taken the wrong way if you're in America. I don't care. And it's exactly the same with the vape. I found even with RY5, which I invented, I wasn't tasting it. After a fortnight, I didn't taste it. So I thought, oh, sorry, might as well save a little bit of money, not buy any flavourings, just go with flavourless. And it's exactly the same. I get all the sensations I want, but I'm not a flavour chaser. Thoughts from the panel, Keith?
I mean, I don't know really. I mean, I've had all different flavours. I mean, it was the same with. I mean, I know your point about cigarettes. I mean, I was the same. I never really tasted any difference with cigarettes, the different brands I tried and this, that and the other. It's different with vaping for me anyway. I do enjoy the different flavours, but I don't go for any of I've never liked custard flavours and things like that. So I mean, I suppose I'm fortunate in that way, if you want to look at it like that. I've never really liked custard flavours and that sort of thing, but I do like flavours. So I don't think I could go for a flavourless vape. I don't know. I mean, I've not tried it. I mean, Matt was saying not long ago that he tried flavourless. I think you said, didn't you, Matt?
I did, yes.
And that you enjoyed it quite a lot, you said.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. I've not tried it. I'd have to try it and see what I thought of it first.
I'm not punting the notion that everybody should go flavourless. Far from it. I just wonder what amount of not credence, but what weight we should be putting behind this. Whether we need to be, as Dr. Farsalinos says, all up in arms about what could be a very minor risk.
As far as that goes, I mean, I'm not one of these that, you know, goes up in arms at every little thing. It's like you were saying about the I've lost where I was going with that now.
Happens to me, it's an age thing.
I think the way I look at it with the risk thing, I do potentially dangerous things all day, every day. I drive a car, I don't necessarily stick to the speed limit. You make your choices. You judge your environment, you make a choice. Things aren't 100% safe. So I've gone through phases of vaping some what would potentially be called risky juices. I went through a big custard phase. I got over it. Cinnamon and menthol. I was bad with cinnamon and menthol, and cinnamon could potentially be an issue. Do I vape them now? Not very often. But if I got the hankering for them, would I vape them again? Yeah, I would say I would.
Well, I'll tell you a story after the adverts, because you're talking about custard flavours there, and a young gentleman with whom I was enjoying some right arm exercise on Thursday night, do not take that the wrong way, has posted into chat he might have poisoned me, but we'll come back to that after the adverts, which will be on Matt's counting.
Well, about now then.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
Sponsors of Bandwidth.
Vapors. Dripper just got 40%
We're not
bigger.
talking
So if
over
you
the
love
adverts.
discovering new e-liquids,
No,
tell Dripper
we
what
never do.
flavours you like and we'll send you 70 ml of juice and at least 5 flavours. With a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe, dripper.co.uk.
Bragging he's 40% bigger.
Oh, is this a set of adverts that's got chocolate in it?
I think so.
Exactly. Love it.
Apparently we talked over Dripper's ad.
Did we?
We did?
Oh dear.
Bad.
Would never do that.
We're back from the adverts now, by the way.
I will. Were the ones we didn't talk over?
They're the ones, yeah, I can't talk over them, I'm not allowed.
Oh, you can't.
No, you're not. It's not that you're not allowed. The technology won't allow you. There's a very great difference. No, you're talking about custard and what have you. I don't know how many, because I didn't make a big thing of it last week on Tuesday, but the reason I did Tuesday last week, as opposed to Thursday, was because I was in Chester, the politically correct name for Manchester, at the UK National Smoking Cessation Conference, which wasn't called the UK National Smoking Cessation Conference this year. It was called the UK Nicotine and Smoking Cessation Conference. Not nicotine cessation, we're talking about nicotine and smoking cessation. So it wasn't nicotine cessation, it was nicotine and
Did
smoking
they have to explain it like that at the beginning?
Well, let's put it like this. There was a few people who were a bit confused by what was on the bannerage around the place. And we sought advice because the New Nicotine Alliance, in the shape of Laurie and Jolly, Sarah Jakes and myself, were there. And some may have seen, unbeknown to me being colourblind, we'd managed to colour coordinate with the new banner on one of the days. I wasn't expecting that at all. That was the Friday. And yes, we did have to explain that this was a level as well of education about nicotine and its lack of harmfulness per se, which is quite interesting. But so we were down there for 2 days talking to people in stop smoking services, and I'm going to say this, and I think this is quite important. I actually came away quite enlivened and heartened by people I spoke to, because there was a broad acceptance of e-cigs for what they are, which is, as it was perceived, a means for people to switch away from smoking lit tobacco. There was not a word said about cut down to quit, chopping your nicotine down or anything like that. It was all about it stops people from smoking fags. That's all we want. And that as a message to come out of that conference is a big thing. I was even more heartened by the number of mental health nurses and medics. I'll use the word medics. Mental health medics who talked to us and asked us about using e-cigs in mental health establishments, particularly in Scotland, where they can no longer take their patients out for a fag. So they wanted to be able to use something that was going to appeal to their patients, and they had, almost unbidden and certainly not cajoled by any of us there, decided that e-cigs were the way to go because their experience with NRT, patches and inhalators and the like, was such that it was not well received by the patients. That chuffed me more than somewhat. But to get to where I was going, Graham Entwistle Gods was there on the Thursday night. He joined us for a drink or two and a bite to eat, and brought with him some of his really teeny tiny weeny jobbies. And how vape friendly was the establishment that we were in? It's called Dimitri's, over the road from the Hilton on Deansgate in Manchester. At one point we were blowing clouds and playing with the clouds, and the management team at Dimitri's was more than happy. And here's the good bit, it prompted an awful lot of people to ask another table where there were folks using more restrained e-cigs, shall we say, to ask about them. I dare say that there was a number of smokers will have had the seeds planted to go and look at e-cigs themselves when they saw that we didn't have to go outside, although both Graham and I did in order to blow some mega clouds, as it were. It was an absolutely fabulous time. Sorry, I've hogged it all. Sav, you look rapt there. Do tell.
That was very, very fascinating indeed. Especially what you were saying about the mental health stuff, because I can't remember who it was that came out with that they were going to try to stop mental health patients using any form of smoking or e-cigs, and that just sounded so cruel to me, to do that to not just mental health patients but to anybody. And I thought, no, that prisoners have more rights.
Well, yes.
And I thought that is just so wrong.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. What got to me more than anything else was the pragmatic nature of the people that we were talking to. You'll notice I'm not naming places and I'm not naming names because this is ongoing. They haven't got it through yet. And we've kind of semi-offered our services to go and help if it's needed, to try and persuade the directors of whatever it is, the people that put all of this stuff together in the various different trusts. If they need a hand, we'll go and help them out, because this kind of pragmatism, all of the coal-faced people get it. 99% of them get it. They understand. They see what it's all about. And I've just seen from the corner of my eye, I will mention Spiritus Vapes like he's not getting enough mentions tonight, but it was him that told us to go to Dimitri's. So SV, thank you, pal. That was a really, really good steer. If you're in Manchester or the environs, go there. It's well worth it. Tell them Dave Dawes sent you and they'll kick you straight back out.
But, I mean, what you were saying about medics and the health profession, I was talking the other day to a district nurse, and the topic of e-cigs came up. She used them for a while, and she wanted to use them to stop smoking. And she did very, very successfully, and she was really pleased. When we were talking about it, she said, on our way out, she says, I don't mean to be funny, but can you not say we talked about this to the rest of the team? Just in case I get into trouble.
Yes.
And I think that's sad.
I'm telling you now, the change between last year's UK NSCC and this was absolutely amazing, and all credit to the organisers and all credit to the people that actually go to this, because last year it was very much a case of, what the hell is that? What are they safe and blah blah. It was kind of suspicious, if you like. There was a degree of suspicion. Why would anybody be carrying something like that around with them? This year, and I had the VT with me, when I explained to them the difference between this and the Ego ones and the other Ego style stuff that was there, and what this did, it was kind of, oh wow, oh that is so good. That's completely then configurable and customizable for just about anybody. Yeah, there's very few people it won't suit, you know. And it was they were more interested in how they can implement e-cigs into the strategy of obsoleting tobacco, which, let's face it, is what e-cigs is for, than they were in kind of other things. It was much more on side.
Fabulous. I mean, today I was up at my local hospital, and sitting outside were two young guys, say in their 20s, didn't know each other, and one of them took his e-cig out, and it was a box mod type. I didn't get a good look at what it was, but he was blowing decent sized clouds, and the guy next to him had sort of an eco type, and that struck up a conversation. Oh, where'd you get that from? And oh, I got it from blah de blah, and bloody brilliant. Oh, can I have a look? And they sat there for ages just having a good old chin wag, rather than going into their appointment, which I'm guessing they were probably late for.
We've all done that though.
But if I wasn't already running late, I probably would have sat and joined them. But after that, I was also talking to my brother, who started using e-cigs about 6 years ago, same time as I did. And with his work and everything, he didn't get on with them. And he decided he was going to try the Champex route. After 2 weeks of it, he had to come off it. And he just decided he was going to go stop cold turkey. And it wasn't working for him because he'd convinced himself that, oh, well, smoking when I'm out and at the pub and things is fine, as long as I don't smoke when I'm in the house. And progressively it started creeping into other parts of his life. So he came back to me about a month and a half ago saying, I want to go back on the e-cig. And I said, well, things have improved a heck of a lot since you started. And I sent him away with an ice stick and a Delta tank. 100ml of juice, and he was happy as a sandboy. Got a chest infection when he was up in Aberdeen, and you know yourself, sometimes when you have something sitting on your chest, vaping makes you cough.
Yes.
So he decided, I can't vape, I'll go back to cigarettes. Which didn't make him cough. I don't know quite how that works, but so he was smoking, and he thought, I'm just going to go cold turkey, I'm going to make an appointment and see the smoking cessation advisor. Yesterday he picked up his e-cig again. Today he's happily vaping, he's content, he's not shouting at his kids, and he's cancelled that appointment. Because he's content again.
Yes.
With what he's got. And it's just, he's gone from being a ratty pain in the bum to being a nice, noble person again. And I thought, yeah, it's really working from this time through the change in technology, and I'm so chuffed for him.
Well, the technology hasn't half changed. I've got to admit, I've never really asked the question of either Matt or Keith, but how long have you two been vaping? Matt first. When did you take it?
Right, on the 4th of July, and it's no coincidence, well, it is a coincidence, shall I say. I didn't actually twig it was the 4th of July, Independence Day. This 4th of July will be my 3rd year. 3 years on the dot.
You'll have 3 years in.
Yeah.
Excellent. Keith?
It's just coming up to 2.5 years for me.
Right. I'm going to ask the question of Keith first. What changes stand out to you in the technology since the day you bought your first e-cig? What's the biggest and most profound change that you've seen?
It's got to be temperature control, I think. Out of all the changes since I started, it's got to be temperature control.
Okay. Matt?
I would disagree, and I would actually say variable wattage. Simply because that allows you to put anything on and have it at a familiar level. Temperature control is very, very good, but it wouldn't be temperature control wouldn't really exist if it wasn't variable wattage.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think that is the biggest change.
What about you, Sal?
I was just thinking that. I think it's got to be something really stupid like 18650s. Because We didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah, 6 years ago, the 18650, I think, was the bus that went from your house to Newcastle.
You've got one of those 650 stuff.
Or it was a bloody train down to London that you didn't want to catch. I'm not sure which. No, I mean, when I think back to what we started on, and lo me, I found one the other day. I've got a 401 kit I found the other day. And when I look at that and think, my God almighty, this was like the bee's knees when we got started. And you get a look now at how it's all changed. I mean, I make no secret of the fact I have fallen in love with the EDID VT. I have absolutely fallen in love with that and the titanium coils. We'll just, I'll do it, shall I? I'll get it out and show people the coils. Because we were talking about this before we went live on the show. I shall pop so you can see this is the one I've been using. Unpluggicated out, and here it be. Look at that. Whoops, get it. Which way is the middle? That way.
There you go.
Look at how clean that is. Look at it. There's not a drop of crap inside there at all. You can see how white it is. Even the cotton's white. That is clean as a whistle, and that, I'm here to tell you, has been in all day, everyday use for well over a fortnight now, and it still tastes as clean as it did when I put on it. And the other thing I was going to say, or I said earlier on, was that you know how you get that funny taste out of a new coil? No matter what.
Yeah.
Nickel or Canthal or nichrome, you always get that funny taste out of a new coil. Not with this. So that's kind of, that's where I'm at the moment. That's kind of the biggest thing for me, is the combination of titanium, temperature control, variable wattage, and, come on Sav, can you remember me saying I'd never be using a what?
Never ever use a box mod.
I would never use a box mod.
Ever.
Ever. And when I look at everything that I'm using now, what is it?
Yeah, stuck with a box mod.
I haven't had a tube in my hand for donkey's ages.
You know what, that's a bizarre thing actually, Dave, you say that, because I'm stuck using box mods pretty much all the time now. And I've got loads and loads of tubes. But I never use them anymore.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is.
See, I've been stuck in my ways since the day of the Darwin. The day I got the Darwin, I've stuck with that type of thing since that very day. I don't own a tube mod, apart from the silver bullet.
Something I've always wanted to ask you, so what exactly is the Darwin? 'Cause I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
The Darwin is something that I really lusted after, but everyone on the VTTV team at the time bought up the entire stock in the world.
Oh, that's not true. I only had 4.
I only had 1 for ages and ages and ages.
And then you
I
had
only wanted 1.
Then I had 3. They just breed to them brilliant.
I gave me last one to Sav.
You did. You did when mine was dying a death.
Because she was crying, hers was dying.
I was, because Brandon at Volve said send it back, and I couldn't part with it. I couldn't put it in the post on its own. So I'm saving up for a ticket to go with it.
And that, I'm here to tell you, has got absolutely nothing whatever to do with the mod and everything to do with Brandon.
Possibly.
What do you mean, possibly? I well remember the first time I had Brandon on the show, there was you, Daz and Kat slavering everywhere.
This is true.
Our Skype chat was full of, oh, he's gorgeous.
This is
Oh, look at those eyes and those lips. And I'm sitting there trying to do a bloody serious interview with him, and all I'm seeing in the Skype chat is all this how the three of you.
I remember the end of the show when Dave went, so what did you think about what Brandon had to say? What, you mean he said something? What? What did he say?
I mean, the three of them that night made Gary Dibley look whiter than white.
It's true.
They didn't even bother with innuendo.
Oh,
Even Daz was offering to have his children. How the hell that works, I don't know.
he was willing to give it a damn good try.
Or just imagine it. One of these holes will work.
Yeah, it's all true. I can't deny it.
Well, that's all right then. That's good. And we're getting all kinds of stuff in chat here. Leanna Lawless apparently has 7 box mods and 3 tubes. You're deformed.
Actually, going back to Leanna Lawless, earlier at the start of the show, she actually put a question in chat. She's going into hospital, and she needs to find somewhere to hide her mod in order to stealth vape.
Well, they're operating at the top end. It's just a thought. Take something white and tubular, they'll not search you. I just said that.
I think you did. Is it advert time yet?
It is.
Yes,
It's
it is.
exactly that time.
See you in a minute.
Raw VT.
Tech UK are proud sponsors of vapetrails.tv.
Oh.
Well, that's like Kanga Box
UK
work.
purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Proud sponsors of vaping entertainment on Vapor Trails TV.
I don't think we're back.
Oh, we are back, yes. Yes, we are. We've calmed down a bit. Apparently it's a box.
What?
Come on.
I haven't got any more adverts, stop it.
Not saying anything. Okay.
Nearly said something, but won't.
Can we just have a close-up there, Dave? I want to see how much you've taken off.
Well, this is about as close as it. Oh, that was a spiky one. That's gone.
Oh, there you go.
It's fine. I must admit, I've often considered waxing my top lip.
Don't.
Nah, I wouldn't actually dream of it. I wouldn't dream of it.
Don't.
No. All right then, go on. DNA 200.
Uh-huh.
All kinds of comments there.
Here's the thing. I think Evolve are damned if I do and damned if I don't at this point, aren't
Yeah, absolutely.
they? You know?
See, I
People were crying
remember-
out saying the DNA 40 is not enough, and now they're doing the DNA 200. And now, what do you want?
I remember that the conversation we had with Brandon off air about that very subject, Dave.
When he,
Yes.
when he told us he was doing it.
Yeah, and the reasons why. And he knew this was going to be what he would be facing.
Absolutely right, but I suppose, like any business, if there's a sector of the market that you're not reaching and you want to reach, you've got to try and reach them. I honestly don't believe anybody needs 200 watts.
No.
No. Not on. I mean, even I've got to say, even not the giggle box, but the mini detonator. I think that was running around about 180, and it was warm, but it was very, very well controlled warm. And I'm here to tell you, you ever want to know how to wind a coil properly? He's your man, is our gods. It sounds really extreme, but when you use his kit, and which I got the chance to quite a lot, and there's video evidence of it kicking about the place. It's actually very smooth. It's warm, very warm, but very smooth, and in no way do you feel as though you're risking your very life or anything like that. It does work out well. But this this VT is set to 60 watts but temperature controlled, and I've been having some fun with it. I'm going to show people a few things on Thursday that I hadn't discovered before, and it's so bloody clever what you can do. It really is. But it's set at 60 watts, but I don't think it ever gets there, and yet I'm blowing everything I need. But I think, yeah, they probably had to do it. They're not in that, or weren't in that market. That market exists quite well, quite big, quite large in the States. I suppose they've got to play there.
So in keeping with that, actually, Reptile Keeper made a comment that surely temperature control wouldn't work with 200 watts. Probably would if your coil was up to it, but if your coil's not up to it, it's not going to reach it. That's the whole point of temperature control.
Well, that's it, exactly. I mean, yeah. With 200 watts, you could probably power, I don't know, you could probably power 8 or more coils to the right temperature and produce God knows what in the way of vapour, but would you really want to?
I wouldn't personally.
It remains to be seen what coil configurations we can come up with that will drive up to close to 200 watts and see how much vapour they'll put out, and whether indeed it's something you want to do on a regular basis. What's your thoughts, Keith?
It's very rare I go anywhere near 40 watts, let alone anywhere near 200 watts, so I'm definitely the wrong person to ask about that.
Go on then, Sav. You're the biggest cloud chaser we've got.
Yeah, right. See, I'm a very open Evolve fangirl, so I trust the Evolve board, and I would trust a 200 watt mod powered with an Evolve board more than I would something other than that. Mainly because that tends to be what I use a lot of the time.
Yes.
But would I find a use for it personally? No.
DJ Reptiles just clattered into chat. Surely 200 watts would exceed the 600 degrees. You want to do the science, Matt?
Not particularly. I've been up since 2 this morning.
Do you want to do the science, Keith?
No.
Do you want to do the science, Sav?
I don't even know the science, Dave.
Alright, I'll do the science. You've got to... Oh, this is going to get... I'll try and put it in very simple terms. When you were at school and you did physics in the first year, and it doesn't matter which course you were on, when you did physics in the first year, you shoved a candle up the butt of a paper cup that was filled with water. And the paper cup didn't burn. Even though you think it's a paper cup, it's going to burn. And you could make... We folded them out of writing paper, we did. And you shoved the candle up and there was soot forming on it and all of that kind of crap. And the water just got warmer and warmer and warmer. The reason being, the water took the heat away from the paper. It wasn't stopping it from burning. Well, it was, but it was stopping it from burning by taking the heat away. So it never reached the temperature at which paper starts to burn. And it doesn't matter what kind of paper it is. And you can do that with just about anything. The water, cold water in there takes the heat away, and it's only when the water's disappeared, because the temperature that paper needs to be at to burst into flames is way higher than the 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees centigrade. That is the maximum temperature the paper can get to while the water's boiling. When it's gone, then it bursts into flames, and it's wonderful stuff, and we all did that and we went, ooh. It's exactly the same with your coil and your wick. As long as juice is getting to the coil cannot exceed the temperature at which the juice is turned into a vapour or an aerosol, or call it what you like. The minute, though, the very millisecond that there's not enough juice on the coil for that to be the case, then the coil goes up in temperature, and that's where the temperature control comes into play. Because titanium and nickel, titanium more so than nickel, has a perfectly straight resistance to temperature graph, if you want to call it that. So as the resistance raises or lowers, the temperature raises or lowers, or as the temperature raises or lowers, the resistance raises or lowers. So you can calculate exactly what temperature your coil is at, assuming that all your windings are perfect. And if you set the temperature low enough on your 200 watt mod, so that there's not going to be any flames or nasties or anything like that, it will work. But you will not use all 200 watts. That's how temperature control works. It stops the coil from getting to a temperature where you are taking the risk of doing some harm, even though that harm might be very, 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 very small. It takes away the majority of the risk. Did I do that properly?
I'd say you did it absolutely 100%.
Thank you. That's good.
Yes, I understood that.
SV has just pointed out a 0.5 ohm coil at 10 volts would be 200 watts, assuming no battery sag. That is actually spot on correct. Gords has said he's ignited e-liquid on first fire. That's easily possible to do. We've all done that.
Many times.
In fact, I've done a video of that fairly recently.
Yes. Well, you're a professional vapor. Professional vapor set coil on fire. We've got a 300 watt and set a coil on fire. We've not got fire extinguisher. Take the finger off the bottom. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that one.
Aha, Paul Robinson has said, can you hold your VT to your ear, DD? Mine makes a ticking noise. I can do better than that. Here I have a very expensive microphone. And it is. So I shall put the very expensive microphone right beside the VT and I shall take a drag. I can't hear. Was there any ticking?
It sounded like he was going to orbit.
Yeah, we couldn't hear for the airflow.
I think it's safe to say no. There's no ticking on mine. If you do have ticking, please do let joytech.co.uk know, because they are aware that some may have had that issue, the very, very, very earliest ones. If it's ticking, let them know. It may not be anything, but they need to know. Please do that. Never ever be afraid of passing information on something that you've experienced to the vendor from whom you've bought it. It doesn't have to be worded as a complaint. It can be worded as a piece of information seeking advice, and they will put your minds at rest, or tell you to send it back and send you another one. Either way on. There you go. My public relations role. It feels like, but no, I don't get any ticking. Tick, 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 boom, says Spiritus Vapes. There you are. And Russell Ord is saying, I am right, yes, he's figured out he needs to set it at a higher temperature to get the same effect as his usual setup with minimal airflow. So, no, Spiritus Vapes, I wasn't edging towards casual racism there. That was razy lacism. That's what that was. Yes, Reptile Keeper's resisting a VT because his wife would kill him if he bought another mod. Chance it I would. Don't have to tell her. Gords has said that the mini detonator ticks. It does actually, but it doesn't bother you because it's so nice when you use it. Even with custard in, and I've got to say, not a vast lot of flavouring in the custard. It was actually very nice. I enjoyed it. Yes, and if you've got a ticking one, don't go on a plane with it. They'll not let you on, says Reggie. That's also true. And DJ Reptile has said a member of his Facebook group, that's not easy to say, did get asked to send one back for the ticking reason. So yes, they're not ogres at Joytech. Give them a yell. Let them know. They're good people.
I'll tell you, talk about ticking. It's not vaping related. Do you want to hear a little story?
Go on then. Is it rude?
No, not particularly. But
no.
Many years ago, I used to be a postman. And one Friday morning...
Postman Matt had a black and white cat.
You know what? I've never actually heard that before.
Have you not?
No, I'm actually surprised. Anyway, so one Friday morning, I was delivering post. I had a signed letter, and it was a letter, very thin letter. Knocks at the door, and lady answered the door, and I said, "Oh, I've got a letter that requires a signature. Can you just sign here and then whatever?" She goes, "It could be a bomb." I said, "You what?" "It could be a bomb." I said, "Look, it's really, really thin. It's not going to be a bomb." "Oh, you don't know that." I said, "Look, just sign it, will you?" And this went on for about 10, 15 minutes. Eventually she signed it and I was on my way. So that night I had a bit of an idea. I got myself a box, some red candles and an alarm clock. And I delivered it on the Saturday. Don't know what happened to her after that.
Is the house up for sale?
Don't know. I haven't been back there for years.
That's terrible. You're a bad man, Matthew. Bad
yes,
man.
well, there we go. Have these notions now and again.
Yes, indeed. What's happening the rest of the week then? Does anybody know?
Tomorrow night it's Marco and Gary, I believe, is it not?
Well, that would normally be the case, but changes have been afoot over the last few weeks. And at this point in time, before I go any further, I want to say a great big thank you to the members of the team, the VTTV team, because I've been belting about like a blue ass fly, and they've stood in and sorted it all out, and it's been great. So thank you, team. I honestly believe we've got one of the best teams on the planet. Sav agrees with me as well.
I do. But I actually think this week everyone's where they should be.
I think so as well, yeah.
With the exception of Ririan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There are many that say he should be permanently down a well.
I think that this really will be.
He needs to stop drinking coffee and stop stretching for it. So Tuesday night, Marco and Gary doing what Marco and Gary do.
Uh-huh.
Wednesday night, who would that be?
Some bloke who lives in Wales and some Welsh bloke.
Well, is that bloke with that really thick Welsh accent?
That's the one, yeah. And they've got the one that was born in Wales as well.
Oh, the one with the really English accent?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Ririan, isn't it, haven't I? Wasn't it? Whose coat is his jacket?
That's it.
More to the point this week, it's whose groom is this bachelor then?
Oh, yes, he's getting married on Saturday, isn't he?
He's jumping the broom on Saturday as a Ririan. When he thinks it's all going to be sweetness and light on the wedding night, he's got no idea he's going to need a bucket.
What he doesn't know is we've arranged for a live stream that evening.
What, from his hotel room? So, how long have you booked? 45 seconds or a minute?
Well, yeah, that's all we could hire the outside broadcast unit for. To be honest, I think that's overkill.
Yeah. Now, I've just seen something come up in chat. It says, this is from Jitterbox. It says, can you shout out my RY4 show tomorrow at 7 o'clock, please, DD? So tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I'm going to go up the top of Penshire Ornament up here and shout his show out from there, which apparently is on RY4 radio at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I think that's what he means. Can I tell everybody that he's got a show at 7 o'clock tomorrow night on RY4 radio? Well, no, I'm bloody not going to tell them, so there.
So what have we got on Thursday night then?
No idea. Well, I do actually. No. Yeah, I'll be here. Keith, at the moment, he's not very well.
Oh.
Bit chesty. So hopefully he'll be back all right for Thursday night. But otherwise, I've got some new kit to have a look at. It's called a presser from Wismec, and that's on its way to me now. I've got both models coming. You can have a look at them. This is a 40-watt, very palmable, quite ladylike device, if I could say that, but with a gentlemanly touch to it as well.
I have seen one of these.
You have. It's true. You have. You've had one in your hands.
I did.
And yes. So we're going to have a look at that. I'll be pulling together a bit more video of interviews from the great and the worthy at the Global Forum on Nicotine. There's some stuff that we talked about there that I want people to hear. These are straight head-to-head interviews with the likes of Linda Bald and others. And I'm just going to put that out there as a teaser. So it'll be a kind of quiet, gentle, talky, and a little bit look at product, and I'll bring you up to speed on the tricks that I've found out about this VT, because this little beastie, this is the jobby. It is. And then after that, what? Dripperbox said I get left out of the RY4 ads, and now DD refused to shout out SHM. I said I wasn't going to shout out the fact that he's on at 7 o'clock tomorrow on our Wi-Fi radio. Well, you know, you're just going to have to be satisfied with that. What he wants me to do is to tell everybody to tune in tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on our Wi-Fi radio. That's what he wants me to do.
It is. That's exactly what he
Well,
wants.
you're just not going to do it. It's simply not going to happen, is it?
I mean,
The
some
words-
people can't take no for an answer.
The words he wants me to say is, look, I want you to tune in to our Wi-Fi radio tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and listen to the Dripper Box kind of show. Well, I'm not gonna, so there.
Oh, can I just have a bit of a plug for Wednesday night as well? On Wednesday, I will be doing a review on this lovely white mod that's ideal for stealth vaping in hospitals.
And yes, that would be brilliant for Lal. Is it a tube?
It's tube-ish. It's quite smooth on the edges, so yeah.
Will it fit in our? Will it fit in our? Will it fit in our?
You could hide this quite easily. Yes.
Oh, it'll fit
Yes.
in our mouth. All right, that's all right.
Oh, right, yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Oh,
You
sorry.
can change the drip tip out. You got a white tip, or you can have a black tip, and it fits quite nicely.
Could you put a red? No.
No, definitely not. Right now.
It's that time, isn't it?
It's
Yes,
that time.
we have come to the end of the show. So let's everybody say good night. Keith,
Good night, everybody.
Sav,
99.
Matt,
Ta-ta.
from all of us here, hey, I hope you've enjoyed the show. We threw it together for you, because we love you. Until we all see you next time, vape on, vape hard, and don't let the bastards grind you down. From all of us here, have a great time. Keith's done some new credits. Watch these. He's fab! That's it. We're finished now.